415 North Mathilda is a great example of the sustainable built environment. I remember the first time I went out to the building. I have to say it's one of the most run-down buildings I have ever seen in my life.
Being an old racquetball facility, the challenge was to figure out how to take a windowless building that's not quite 2 stories, make it a dynamic and functioning 2-story building with plenty of daylight and fresh air.
I think the genesis of it was to see if we could take an existing concrete tilt-up building, of which there's about 100 million square feet of that product type in the Silicon Valley area, and to take something like that and avert it from the landfill, renovate it net zero energy in a way that's got a real strong emphasis on the health and wellness for the occupants that are going to eventually work in there. And to be able to do that cost effectively.
We were able to repurpose well in excess of 90, close to 95% of materials. We repurposed some of the salvaged materials into the building design.
You know, net zero energy is hard to do for a ground-up building, and to achieve it with an existing building, reusing all of that existing concrete and steel and making that work as a commercial proposition was just an amazing thing. Major transformation, absolutely incredible transformation. It was a combination of a business model piece, which is how do you structure a lease and structure the financing and make all that part of it work. There was a regulatory piece, which was working with the city to figure out how it was all going to come together. And then there was a big technical piece about how do you create great daylighting and great fresh air and create an environment that can operate within the existing building.
I think some of those challenges ended up creating opportunities for us. Because we had daylight from the sides instead of as much from above as we had done before, we used dynamic glass, fused glass, or electrochromic glass on the outside of the building to daylight from the perimeter. That created an opportunity for us to be able to tune the daylight and tune the natural light and adjust the natural light for the occupants. Because we were cutting 86 holes in the building, we had to structurally reinforce it. So we ended up with a large shear wall in the building, which then afforded us an opportunity to put a 600 square foot green wall on that.
The thermal mass of the building means that we have a strategy for keeping the building cool without having to push a lot of cold air from HVAC around. We have the ability to run fans, so we can actually create air movement within the building without having to have the windows open during the workday, and that helps with noise. So the combination of a whole range of strategies means that you get beautiful, comfortable, fresh air and great light throughout the working day.
Pretty much everybody's reaction is, oh my goodness, what a cool space. And I get to go, yeah, I know, we love it, it's great here.
We also felt the need to put together a green lease, or a lease that was specific to these types of buildings. And we were very, very fortunate in the projects that we've done so far to have occupants and tenants come in that embrace those provisions.
To do that in a way that makes commercial sense is what makes these buildings special. And I think that that's super exciting, because if we want more green buildings, and if we want the wellness and the environmental benefits of this, then we have to make it work economically.
By 2030, it's a mandate that projects become zero energy, zero carbon, and this is a building that's going to help make that happen.